Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
Great. So for those watching, I am Jeff Brown. I'm the Pro Bono Program Manager for the State Bar of Wisconsin. And with me today is Ronald Westgate, Randy Westgate, a volunteer with Wisconsin Judicare up in northern Wisconsin. So to get started, Randy, don't you give us an idea of how you're volunteering with Judicare?
I run the Judicare Mediation Services program, and it's a program that Judicare started. Um, Judicare and I started together we basically run the mediation service for Marathon County. We interface with the courts in small claims, evictions, any court-ordered mediations required by the judges. All in an effort to be able to help the court system unclog and give people more access to justice in a way that they can appreciate and understand within, especially the small claims. And these days, small claims is $10,000, and that's a lot of money to a lot of people. And so, with the eviction issues that have been happening across the nation, we've been able to help people avoid evictions on their records, at the same time helping landlords be able to solve difficult situations for them. So all in all, it's just an effort to be able to offer another alternative. Judicare can't provide an attorney to every case that probably deserves one, and so we're basically free to any any of the parties in the Marathon County court system. So it's a pretty broad program, and so far so good. The pandemic certainly caused us some issues to have to transform when the courts closed down and transferred to Zoom. We did the same thing. We transferred to mediations by Zoom, and that, and quite frankly, the litigants really like that. They don't like to come to court. They don't like to be a part of the legal process. They have a really difficult time of presenting evidence in hearings by themselves. It takes all the judges here in Marathon County are very patient with people. It's just following the rules of evidence and knowing what questions you can ask. It takes the judges and the court commissioner a tremendous amount of time to be able to work through those cases. And quite frankly, they're limited in many cases. As far as eviction, for example, their ability is evict or not evict. We, however, can fashion agreements that basically meet the needs of the parties. And somebody may want to, by the time they reach a hearing on an eviction, both probably want to get out of the property. It's now, how do you get out of the property? How do you give them enough time to be able to do that and find another place? So we're able to, craft agreements that courts just can't do. So I think we add another layer to the services that the courts can offer parties.
What's the reaction been like from the courts? Have they been very supportive of this?
Very supportive of it. They don't like to have to conduct these hearings for people who don't know how to conduct a hearing any more than the parties want to do it. So they really like the fact that people are able to express themselves in a mediation in a way they can't with courtroom. And when we walk into a mediation or do it by Zoom, we don't even know what the case is about. We may know it's an eviction case, but we don't know the particulars of it. And we're not there to give legal advice. We're, if the parties can come to an agreement by themselves, that's the best possible outcome for any kind of dispute that affects small claims and things like that. So it's been very effective, and the judges love it.
You didn't come to this directly, as I understand it. You're retired. You are not a lifelong mediator. Give us an idea of how you arrived here.
Well, I went to law school and I worked as a lawyer for the first couple of years, and then unfortunately, my father died, so I took over the family business and ran that for almost 40 years. But when I sold it, it was to the point where I felt I was too young to retire and wanted to do something else. So I took a mediation training and volunteered my time in Oshkosh at the Winnebago Conflict Resolution Center. And so I used to travel down to Oshkosh all the time. But then the I approached the judges and said, why don't we have something like that in Marathon County? And Judge Huber said, well, be careful what you ask for because I'm appointing you to do that. And so that's how it got started. And and now I'm working almost 3/4 to full time doing it. And
Wow.
I enjoy it. I really believe in the mediation as a part of the court system and as part of, aiding the pro bono area of being able to offer, litigants some type of dispute resolution mechanism that can help them, navigate a difficult system for them. They don't understand the legal system. They don't know why they're there. They're frightened by it. And yet mediation is a much better way for them to be able to express themselves, even if it's, in an emotional way that in fact helps the mediation. If the more they can express themselves and state their case and why they're there and what they think they can do about it. And it's a very cost-effective one. All of our mediators are trained or volunteers. So the ability to be able to offer this is very cost-effective. And most of our mediators are professionals, retired professionals, or professionals who have time. So they're very good at what they do. And yet being volunteers, it keeps our costs very low and the program very efficient.
Could you use more volunteers, and what's next for the program?
Absolutely. We can't always use more volunteers, and we have a volunteer training coming up in November by Zoom, which will be interesting. We've never done that before. But our next program is to reach out to other northern counties to see if we can offer our mediation services. As I said before, we were able to transfer to a Zoom-based mediation, and that was successful. So the ability to serve northern counties, again, providing free services to their court system, we're able to do that by Zoom remotely. As the weather is now getting, as we can see, it's getting colder. It's really hard to travel up to particular northern counties in the middle of winter in the weather. So this is just a great way to be able to reach people. People don't have to travel 20, 30, 40 miles into the county seat to be able to attend a mediation. They can do it by Zoom. So we feel we can cost effectively reach those counties and provide another avenue for access to justice. I mean, there's always, the lawyer issue up there is still quite difficult, and being able to find attorneys. Judicare is working on that side of the ledger to the 33 northern counties that we serve. So if we can offer mediation to those groups, then in the northern counties, then I think things will really be able to serve more people in a better way. And yes, we need more volunteers to do that.
Well, thanks, Randy. We'll make sure we put a link for how people can contact you and contact Judicare to volunteer. And we'll put a link to the training with the video.
Great.
So I want to thank you for your time today, and thank you for all the great volunteer work that you're doing to help folks up in Marathon County and northern Wisconsin.
Thanks, Jeff.